go. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Awesome, awesome. Before we get started, I kind of want to do some housekeeping here. Men's restroom is here. The ladies' restroom is in the back. Please feel free to help yourself to all this good food here. We are ready to do some awesome learning this morning. It's going to be an awesome session. What we're going to do, this is going to be recorded. So whenever you guys have a question, I just like to speak into the mic, okay? This is going to be awesome, okay? So one, what I'd like you to do is start the recording now, okay? Let me know. We're done? Good, okay. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring up Sean. I have a treat for you guys, okay? A lot of the first-time buyers don't know much about title, escrow, whatever. So I have a real live title officer that's going to come and talk to you just briefly on title, how it works, and then we're going to get right into the session, okay? Is that okay with you guys? Yeah. All right, you guys ready to learn?
Yeah.
You ready to buy some houses?
Yes.
Who's here ready to buy some houses?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. So without further ado, I'm going to give you over to Sean.
Good morning. It's great to be here at your service. Let me congratulate you for taking the action to build wealth. There is no wealth in the United States that is not connected to real estate. And in order for us to really build up our future, we need to tap into the wealth, and that is the real estate. To me, as a consumer of real estate, I really don't care what you buy the first time. Get your hand on it. Don't be picky. Buy something. 1979, I could have bought a house in very close to Rodeo Drive for $78,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This is 1977, 1978, and I didn't. That house is right now is worth $2.2 million. It's about 30 years, 35 years, right? The house is being bought, the property is being bought to be paid for 30 years. 1985, I bought the house in Downey right here for $117,000, and in 8 months I sold it for $218,000. My mistake, I shouldn't have sold it. That house is about $800,000 right now. And it is unimaginable for any of us to be able to make that kind of money at work after paying taxes and things like that. So please don't be picky. Buy. My wife didn't want me to buy that house in Downey. Oh, no. Hey, you know what? We are living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Let's bring the expectation down. Now, going back to my profession, I congratulate you for being here and being in the market. Even the real estate agents helping people to get to the first house, especially. When you purchase a property, what is the most important anxieties that you have? Am I getting it right? Is it being handled correctly? Am I going to have a lawsuit after I close the transaction? Am I going to have any litigation after the close of transaction? That's where we come in as title companies. What do we do? The moment that you purchase a house, we go ahead and provide something called owner's insurance. We check the property based on who is the owner, what kind of liability, judicial or financial, that owner has that can affect your new ownership. We identify it, we get rid of it, correct it, iron it out before we transfer the property to you. What do we call it? We call it a clear title. When the property gets transferred to you as an owner, there is a clear title, meaning that you would not have any chances of somebody coming. Oh, you would have chances. People are so happy they can sue. But who is going to come in? Our insurance is going to kick in. We are going to be defending you. We are going to defend the transaction and make sure that you wouldn't get hurt. That is the owner's insurance. There is something else that is called lender's insurance. That normally the buyer provides or pays for it. The owner's insurance is normally sold by this, bought by the seller. Of course, depends upon the negotiation, and you need very powerful agents to be able to negotiate the right thing, making sure the seller pays for his portion, and you pay for your own portion, which is the protection of the new lender. The new lender, that if you put 5% down, 10% down, unless you pay all cash, that you would not need that lender's protection. You need to get that protection. And that protection would include checking you to make sure you don't bring any judicial or financial obligation to the property that's above and beyond what the lenders would approve. So two areas will be checked: the seller and the buyer. Buyer for the lender's protection and seller for buyer's protection. There is other searches that we do. We search the property to see what kind of easements, encroachments, what kind of litigations are on the property. Homeowners association litigation. Is there any attachment of judgments or anything like that? But you do not have to be worried when the time comes for us to transfer the property. The title is clear. I go back to easement. You need very professional and dedicated agents for you to understand what type of easement is that and what kind of limitations create for you. And that's why working with professional agents, experienced agents, is a must. It is a cardinal sin not to have an agent and get into a transaction. I'll give you an example. You may have an easement through the backyard of the property. Normally the easements for, am I taking too much time? I'll make it faster. The easement normally for the utilities and things like that are normal. But just imagine that easement is going through the middle of the yard and you are planning to build a pool there. Can you build a permanent structure or a easement? No. No. So having that agent who can interpret what that easement is, to dig in it and find out what are the boundaries, it is amazingly important. If you have any questions after the session, I will be at your service to answer your questions. Thank you for giving me the chance. Have a great one.
Thank you, Sean. He is so very, very well versed in title. And please, if you have any questions, please ask him. Okay, let's get after this. What I have for you after the class is your home buyer's toolkit. And what's going to be in here is that you're going to have some information on some loans. That's going to give you some assistance with down payment. You're going to have a worksheet in here. You're going to have your goals, your 10-day goals in here. And we're going to go over this so you're going to know exactly how to apply it when it's done. You're going to have your financial assessment guide. You're going to have a guide to buying a home. And you're going to have a real estate report. We usually sell this for about $49.95. Today is free for you guys being here, okay? So good job for that. All right. All right, let's get started. Let's get started. The very first, now in front of you, you have your follow along worksheet, the slides.
You don't have an extra for me?
Oh, we did. We did. There you go. Anybody doesn't have one? Everybody has one? Okay.
Do you want to sketch back?
Everybody good?
Everybody needs a pen or a notepad, anything you need?
Everybody got something to write? Okay. Here we go. You only got one thing?
Yes, just one
Oh,
page.
that's all right. Sonny, do you have another copy there? There you go. That's one.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, here we go. All right. So the very first thing I want to talk about, guys, is that when you start your buying process and start anything with the process in life, what I really want to start with is your goals, okay? Because it's very, very important to have your goals set in front of you before you start the process. The reason being is that today's market is very, very challenging. Number one, we are experiencing what we call a lack of inventory. What that means is that there's not a lot of properties on the market. So therefore, when you're looking for properties, you may go through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 properties before you get the ones that you want. So it's very important, number one, to have your goals set in front of you. Here, we like to teach basically 5 goals that we have. We have a spiritual, family, physical, financial, and business, okay? in your package, you're gonna have a worksheet that's a 10-day goal worksheet. I strongly suggest that you fill it out, put one goal per category. It's really gonna help you to move forward. Only 3 to 4% of financially successful people have written goals, okay? Pretty much of American population. So therefore, we wanna make sure that you guys are on track. So please take this seriously, get your goals down. Another thing that we want you to do is that we want you to list all your recurring expenses. When you're buying property, when you become homeowners, property owners, or whatever, it's really good that you have your budget together. If you don't have your budget written down on paper, your monthly expenses, where you are each month, you're going to be at a serious disadvantage. So we do give you a financial assessment that's in your package. Excuse me, I'd like for you to take it home, fill it out, and get started. If you are serious about owning property and building wealth, you better be serious about your expenses. It's very critical, okay? Everybody with me?
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Now, let's talk about the type of lenders that you're going to be dealing with. There are multiple lenders that you deal with when you buy property. You got commercial banks, which is your Wells Fargo's, your Chase banks, your Bank of Americas. You have your mortgage bankers, your mortgage brokers, and you have hard money. I'm going to explain a little bit about both. When you have commercial banks, they kind of put you in a box. In other words, if you do not qualify for their certain loan programs, you won't get a loan from them. They're very structured. Actually, commercial banks such as Chase and Wells Fargo, they're not really meant for FHA and VA type products. They're more meant for conventional type products, 10, 15, 20, 30% down. So therefore, if you have excellent credit, you don't have any problems, whatever, a commercial bank may be for you. Now, if that's not for you, then we have what we call mortgage bankers. Which mortgage bankers do, they're a lot more flexible. They'll work with your credit if you have credit issues, if you have, if you owe a lot of money maybe or whatever. They're a little bit more flexible. Now, they have their own money to lend, okay? They have what they call warehouse lines. They also have what they call direct endorsement, which means when you do FHA and VA, they can fund directly, okay? So these mortgage bankers are great for people that have some credit issues, things like that. Now, what a mortgage broker is a little bit different than a mortgage banker. What a mortgage broker is that they deal with a whole bunch of different lenders. What they're able to do, they're able to put you together with different lenders. Let's say that you really have some challenges and you need to kind of spread yourself out to see which lender is best for you, then a mortgage broker can help you with that. I kind of threw hard money in there because some people don't know really what hard money is. Hard money lenders is usually for people that want to flip properties. You cannot buy a property and live in it with hard money. They're not regulated by RESPA. So therefore, if you find a property that you want to flip or something like that, then you can use hard money. The difference with hard money is that their interest rates are extremely high. They charge like 1% per month. So that's like 12% a year. Their closing costs, which we'll go over shortly, is very high, 4%, and they only lend for a year. So therefore, I just kind of want to educate you. What we do here at Realty Executives is that we educate our clients. We want you to be very educated out in the industry. So when you go out to buy a house, you're going to know what you're talking about. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet that you're going to know maybe even a little bit more than the average real estate agent who just started. That's our goal here. That's what we want to do. We're going to give you the guide to the guide to buying a home. It's in your package. Really read that when you get home. It is excellent. It has a lot of great information. It's really going to help you to move forward. Let's talk about the type of financing that's out there. I want you guys to really kind of know what you're dealing with and how you're going to be dealing with it. First of all, you have what they call a 203K, a 203B, FHA. Now, what FHA is usually your first-time home buyers program. FHA stands for Federal Housing Administration. FHA does not lend money. What they do is that they actually guarantee the banks that do lend you money, okay? FHA is usually 3.5% down, okay? And with FHA, you can even have possible home payment assistance. In your package, there's a flyer that's going to help you with your down payment. It'll help you with your closing costs, okay? Now, FHA is just for a regular property, that doesn't need too much work. It's pretty standard. It's a cool deal for FHA. FHA 203K is a little bit different. when you guys are out there looking for houses and you see some houses that are kind of rough around the edges, you can actually buy that house with an FHA 203K. So therefore, what FHA would do, they would loan you the money to actually fix the house. So let's say that the house needs $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of work. Don't be afraid of that house. Go buy it. Let's go buy it, spend an offer on it, and then what FHA 203K will do is that they will loan you the money to actually fix the house. It's a real cool deal, okay? You get the house the way you want it. You'll be able to pay the payments over 30 years, they finance it, fix it up. It is a real cool deal, okay? So when you guys out there looking for properties, and you see something a little shady, don't be afraid of it. Jump right on it, okay? It's an awesome deal. VA, for those in here that are veterans. VA is an excellent loan to get, okay? It has a lot of benefits. No money down, no closing costs, and there's no mortgage insurance premium, which we're gonna go over. It's not required. So therefore, if you're a veteran or if you know veterans, hey, refer them over to us, okay? Because a VA loan is an excellent loan to have. Let's talk a little bit about conventional loans. Conventional loans are different than FHA. Number one, their requirements are a little bit more stringent. They have 5, 10, 20% down and more. That's where your big banks are really good for, your Wells Fargo's and all of that. So conventional loans are good. Who in here has 20% down to put down on the house right now? Nobody? Neither do I, don't worry about it. It's okay, all right. So, but that's okay. We're gonna show you how to get into a home real affordable today. And you're gonna love it. Now, there's some resources that I want you guys to go to after you finish. I want you to go to, if you have an Apple or an Android, go to either Realty.com mortgage calculator or whatever, and download it on your phone. This is really good for you, because what's gonna happen when you're out in the field, and you see a house that you may wanna know how much it's gonna cost you, just go to your app on your phone, punch in the numbers, and it'll automatically give you the monthly payment, okay? So, I want you guys to do that after we're done. Let's talk a little bit about what down payment and closing costs are, because sometimes we get a little bit confused. What a down payment is basically determines the principal balance of the loan amount of a loan, okay? So every loan is pretty much gonna need a down payment of some sort. So therefore, I have an example. If there's a $100,000 sales price, obviously not in California anywhere, but let's, for example, if you have a $100,000 sales price minus a $10,000 deposit, down payment, the loan amount is $90,000, okay? The difference between the down payment and a closing cost is a closing cost is the cost of completing the transaction. So don't get them confused. Your down payment will always lower your loan amount, but your closing costs won't affect your loan amount at all. What it's going to do is going to go to certain costs, such as escrow, lender points, title fees, prepaid interest, taxes, and insurance, okay? So now with some of the down payment assistance programs, they'll help you pay for this. As a matter of fact, some down payment assistance programs will help you pay for your down payment as well, okay? So therefore, there's programs out there. One was telling me that Compton has a program out now, which is an awesome program. It's a program that will actually help you to lower your loan amount. So it is an excellent program. I did that program with one of my clients last year. Compton gave him $100,000.
Wow.
So, yeah, absolutely. So there's some great down payment assistance programs out there, and our agents here will help you find them, okay? Listen, if you have any questions, let me know. You can just shoot them at me, and I'll answer them right here and right there for you, okay? All right, so closing costs is not part of the down payment, not at all. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Good. Let's talk about what's the parts of a loan. If you have any loan, there's 4 parts. That's going to be on each and every loan. There's going to be, we call it pity in the real estate industry. We call it pity. Pity on the person that buys a property. Okay, but here we go. We got principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. This insurance I'm talking about is hazard insurance, fire insurance, liability insurance that you put on your home. That's the insurance I'm talking about. But if you put 20% or less down on a property, there's going to be something else that lenders can hit you with. It's called mortgage insurance premium. What they do, they charge you to protect the lender in the event that you are defaulted on the loan. Okay, let me say that again. This mortgage insurance premium protects the lender in the event that you default on the loan or go into foreclosure, okay? This is a big thing because this could be a pretty significant part of the loan, or your payment rather. could be $200 to $300 a month extra on top of this. The reason I want you to know this is when your lender talks about PMI, you know what they're talking about. It's a premium paid to the lender, okay? Let's talk about something else that lenders use that you need to know. It's called loan to value, or LTV. This is important for you to understand because when the lender tells you, I'm going to give you 70% loan to value, I'll give you 80% loan to value, I'll give you 90% loan to value, you need to know what they're talking about, okay? So what a loan to value is the market or appraised value compared to the loan amount. The market or appraised value compared to the loan amount. So for example, if I have an $80,000 loan divided by $100,000, that's the value of the property, then the loan to value is 80%, okay? So therefore, in this example, if the loan to value is 80%, what would the down payment be?
20.
20%. Do you guys get that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's very important for you to understand loan to value. Now I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, okay? And this gentleman right here took a real estate class with me, so he knows all the answers. So I'm gonna ban him right now from answering. And I'm gonna ask you guys a question. FHA is 3.5% down, right? Okay. So what is the loan in a percentage? Okay, so you have 100%, 3.5% down goes toward the loan, right? So what's the other amount? 96.5. That's right, 96.5. So you can see FHA is a very highly leveraged loan. The loan amount, the loan to value is extremely high. That's why they call it a first-time home buyers program. That's why it's very important that you get the right lender to help you with those loans because Bank of America really don't like those kind of loans. They're very stringent. If you don't fit in the box, you won't get the loan, okay? You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about what lenders do when they qualify you. It's important, and from all of my real estate agents, this is critical. What happens when a lender qualifies you, they qualify you on the gross income. They don't take anything really into consideration. It's on the gross income. So what happened is that you'll be qualified for a certain amount of money, and you're excited. I'm qualified for $500,000. You're going out, guys. We're going out, and we're looking for properties and $500,000. We put an offer in. We get the property, and the buyer goes home, and they really put the numbers down on paper. And then they say, I really can't afford this. Even though the lender's going to give you the money, I really can't afford it. So what happens is that the deal falls apart, right? Then we have to look for a cheaper property. So what I'd like for you to do is I'd like you to go to consumerfinance.gov and Google Home Loan Toolkit. What's so great about this is that they will show you how to calculate your payments using your net income, not your gross income. Because what had happened, you'll really figure out the first time out really how much you can afford. Okay? This will save a lot of time, guys. This will save a lot of time from you running out finding a property that you think you like, that you think you want, and at the end of the day, you figure out that you can't afford it, or you don't want to afford it. So I want you guys to go here. It's on your paper to go to consumerfinance.gov. They have a lot of great information on what you should do when you're buying properties. I want you to Google the Home Loan Toolkit, okay? And actually, it's an interactive toolkit to where you can plug in all your expenses and everything, and then you really know where you're at. So when you start looking for properties, you will absolutely know what you can afford, and it'll be a great thing, okay? Everybody get that? Any questions on that? That's a critical piece. Okay, let's talk about the type of properties that we can afford. You can afford a single-family residence, which includes 2 to 4 units. Yes, you can buy units with FHA, absolutely. But you can, with the down payment assistance program, okay? 3.5% down payment assistance program. But what you cannot do is that you cannot use a down payment assistance program on 2 to 4 units. You gotta have the 3.5%. Now you can get help with your closing costs, but you gotta have this 3.5% if you want to buy 2 to 4 units. But isn't that great, that you can buy units with FHA, 3.5% down? Oh, it's awesome. You guys should be really taking advantage about that. You know, just think about it. The average first-time home buyer, he wants to buy the house, then buy the units second. Buy the units first, then buy your house a little later on. Have the income to pay for your house. That's a good way to do it, okay? You can buy a townhome, condominium, PUD, planned unit development. The only thing you cannot buy is 5 units or more. 5 units or more is considered commercial property. It's a whole different ball of wax. It's a whole different down payment.
Michael, what is that PUD? Townhouse, condominium, PUD.
Copy that for me, please, because we're recording.
Michael, what does mean PUD?
PUD.
Townhouse, condominium, PUD.
PUD stands for Planned Unit Development. What happens sometimes is that before they were building the condominium townhomes, they used to have what they call a planned unit development. And what would happen is that you would own a percentage of the common area. You just wouldn't own yours, but you would own a percentage of the common area as well. So therefore, it's pretty much the same thing as a PUD. I'm going to put you in control of the microphone. All right. So basically, it's the same thing. Lenders have some different strategies in financing them, but it's pretty much the same thing. So when you hear, and there's not many around anymore,
Yeah.
but when
I don't
you
see
do
the
see it,
minutes.
right, when you do see it, then you know what it is. Okay, any other questions? All right, let's move on. We're doing really well. Let's talk about the different type of property types when you're out there. Because when you're out there looking for properties, you're going to run across a lot of type of properties. I want you to know what they are, okay? So first of all, standard sale is just a regular sale. Regular individual selling their property, just really standard, there's no big deal about it. But our real estate owned is a different type of property. You may see these properties that it says REO. I'd like you to write that down, REO. It's a real estate owned property. What it really means is that the bank owns the property. The bank has foreclosed on the property and it's their property now. So now, can you buy these properties? Absolutely. There's no problem, okay? So you can't buy a real estate owned property. Who knows what a short sale is? Anybody? Okay,
Like 30 days or less?
30 days or less?
Uh-huh.
Okay, anyone else?
I thought it was 60 days or less.
60 days or less? Anybody else? Okay, let me explain to you what a short sale is. What a short sale is actually is when an individual is in trouble with their property. They may be in the process of maybe losing it, they're behind in their payments. That's what the ladies was talking about, 30 days or 60 days or less. But what it really means is that in order for that individual to sell that property, the lender has to give that individual approval to sell that property. So therefore, the individual, the seller, has to qualify by the lender to sell the property. The seller must have a financial hardship. The seller must be probably behind in their payments. Therefore, the lender has to give the seller approval in order to sell it. Okay? Now, this type of sale it takes a long, I don't know why they call it short sale. They should call it long sale. Okay? Because you're about 3 to 6 months on a property like this. So if you find a property, a short sale, and here's our short sale specialist right here. That's right. She knows it inside and out. And if you find a short sale, be prepared to wait for it. It's not going to happen in 30 days. It's not going to happen in 45 days. What would you say the average time is, Fanny?
3 months.
3 months. And that's fast, because she's good.
That is-
Because you know what? 6 months, I had a short sale went over a year. Okay? So to just be very careful. But here's a good thing about a short sale. You can get a really good deal on it. If you're the first one that is in line and the seller likes you, they'll sign off on it, then they'll give it to the bank, and the bank will take forever to close it. But it's a good deal. You can get a good deal with a short sale. So don't turn them away, but if you're anxious to move, a short sale is not the way to go. Okay. Auction. Now when I talk about auction, I'm talking about auction.com. Auction.com is a website that you go to and buy auction properties. Okay? But basically it's just like competing. You go online, you make your offer, you make your bid. What I don't care for with auction properties is that they charge you an extra 5% just to buy the property. So if it's $100,000, they're going to charge you an extra $5,000. just to buy the property. And you're gonna be able to compete for the property, okay? Can you buy those properties? Yeah, you can. They'll finance them. You know, your lender can finance them, but be aware that the property may be bidded up and you may be stuck with that 5%, okay? So you wanna be careful about that. Trustee sales. Anybody know what a trustee sale is? Okay, what a trustee sale is, in this game is really for the big boys, okay? Trustee sales they're sold on the courtyard steps, usually in Pomona. And what happens, a lot of people are actually buying these properties sight unseen. You have to have cash, okay? If it's $300,000, you have to come with a cashier's check for $300,000. And a lot of times you may not even know what the property looks like on the inside, okay? You probably could get a pretty decent discount at the trustee sale, but it's not for you guys, not right now. When you start getting more money, then you'll be able to go to the trustee sales. Right now, we're gonna stay away from it. Anybody know what probate means?
Headache.
Headache. Okay, it's a dead headache, okay? What a probate, guys, means usually someone has died with or without a will. Doesn't make any difference. And this is a little lesson I want to teach you guys real quick. When you buy your properties, I want everybody to get a living trust. Because a will not help your heirs when you are passed on. A lot of people think it will, it won't, it will not. If you have a will, you still got to go to probate. You're on your way to probate. What probate is a legal process in order to clear up or dispose of an estate. That's what that means. So therefore, probate properties are very good deals. They're really good deals, you know. Usually a lot of work to be done, so it's perfect for 203K. But can you buy a probate? Yes, you can. The only drawback is sometimes probates want 5 to 10% down in the deposit, and your money could be wrapped up. You have to go to court to clear it up usually, but probates are a doable thing for you guys. So therefore, the properties that we want you to look for is standard sales, real estate owned. You can look at short sales, and you can look at probates. But really, we want you to look at standard sales and real estate owned, because those are the fastest deals that we can get you to. Any questions? We good?
Yep.
We're flowing, okay. Let's talk about the status of properties that we have here. When you're looking through Zillow, which I don't want you to look through, truly I don't want you to look through that. We have our own website that we want you to go to. But in the event you wander off, you know, you're looking at realtor.com, whatever, there's certain statuses that you need to be aware of. Zillow is classic for having properties that have sold a long time ago, and they still show active. What A means for active, it means that the property is available. You can actually buy it, put an offer in on it. P means that it's in escrow. So if you see a property that has P by it, that means that it's in escrow. B stands for backup or taking backup offers. So if you see a property that has a B by it and it says backup, you can still make an offer on it, and I would strongly suggest that you do. Because right now, Lionel, how many properties are falling out of escrow?
Actually, about 30% of the properties in a particular city, if I do a search in the city, the properties that went in escrow 2 weeks ago, about 30% of them will go back in the market.
Excellent. So whenever you're looking for properties and you see properties that's in backup, don't be afraid to put an offer in on it. You never know. You'd be in line. The first offer falls out. You'd be in line to get that property.
Michael, do you remember it changed the B for AU, active under contract?
That's right. That's right. So for the realtors, I don't know if they've done that on the actual, but for the realtors, they've changed it. It's no longer B. It's AU, right? Active under contract. Okay. So if you see something funny like that, just ask the realtor what that means, and we'll help you out. Okay. And S stands for sold. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. Now this is the time that we're going to go shopping. So this is what we're wanting to get to, right? Okay. All right. What we want to do, we want to make sure whenever you guys are getting ready to go shopping, you got to be very specific on what you want. This is a great time to put your goals down. It's a great time to put down on paper what you are really looking for. It's amazing when me and my wife was looking for a property. We actually wrote it down on paper, everything we wanted, and we put the paper away. And then we were amazed. When we moved into our place, we almost got everything we wanted because we put it down on paper. Very powerful. So what you want to do, you want to figure out the areas, okay? Now, when you figure out the areas, what's going to help you is your pre-approval. It's going to let you know where you're going to be shopping. your bedroom, your bathroom count, okay? Don't be stuck on this so much, you know, like I gotta have a 3-bedroom, I have to, well, you guys gotta have a 3-bedroom, okay? These people are blessed with a large family, so you don't come to me with no 2 bedrooms, that's not gonna work,
That's
okay?
mutiny, that's mutiny.
Exactly.
Started mutiny.
Okay, your building square footage, this is pretty important because a lot of people don't quite know what square footages feel like. Okay, but I would say this, if you're looking for a three-bedroom, the minimum is about 1,200 square feet, where you want to be, and then you want to go from there, okay? So when you're searching, you may see a really good deal, and it's like just a phenomenal deal. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's phenomenal, but it's only 900 square feet.
Closet room.
Yeah, exactly. So be very careful when you're searching so that you can, the square footage makes sense, okay? The lot size is another thing. You may be searching, you find a phenomenal deal sitting on a 2,500 square foot lot. No, you want your lot to start at about 4,000 at least, and then move up, okay? Therefore, you have plenty of backyard, okay? If you're buying a house. With a condominium, it doesn't make too much sense, okay? Tell them I'll call them back. All right, I've always wanted to do that. All right, you know, garage, you know, guys, that's our thing, right? We gotta have a man cave and all that good stuff. So you want to do that thing. And the amenities, make sure you know if you want fireplaces, kitchens, whatever you may want. Make sure that you know. Make sure you let your realtor know what they're looking for, so that they can help you out. Okay? That was pretty straightforward. This is pretty good, huh? Pretty good stuff? Okay, good, good. Now, when you search for properties, what we like to do, I have my own website called mike-realtor.com, but if you're working with other agents, they're going to have their own websites. Make sure that you get your agent's website, okay? Because we have some very, very good websites here that you'll be able to search on. Also, we have an application called Millions Map. It's a very good application. When you sign on to my website, then you can go to the Millions Map application, which works really well. When you drive in areas, make sure that you're looking for the signage. Okay, write the signage down, give it to your agent so we can research it. And here's another thing. Let's say you're driving through an area, you see a house or a 4-unit, and you don't know what's going on with it. It just looks a little shaky. Well, what we do, give me the address, I'll give it to Sean. Sean will figure out who owns it. We can make them an offer, okay? Just because there's no sign on the property, that doesn't mean we can't make an offer. We can make an offer on any property that we want. So if you're driving, you find a property that looks a little vacant or whatever, and you want to research it, give it to me, I'll get it to Sean, we'll get the information, we'll find out, we can make an offer, okay? Referral from family and friends. Once you get approved, don't be afraid to talk it up to the right people. Not to the haters, to the right people. Okay? Yeah, we want to talk you to the right people because they may say, you know what, I saw a property right down the street from me that just went up for sale. Okay? So go ahead and chat it up with them. Newspaper, not so much anymore. Not so much. The internet is probably taking them out. Okay? Let's talk a little bit about how we're going to make offers. We're on the home stretch here. So let's talk about how we're going to make offers and what we do. We're real estate brokers here. I'm the broker officer of this company. And we are part of the California Association of Realtors, okay? And what we do, we use their forms. Very important because it protects us whenever we have any legal issues. We know we're using the right agreements. We use confirmation of disclosures, and these offers will be explained, these forms will be explained to you when we're actually in the transaction, because it's too much right now. You wouldn't understand it anyway. So basically, these are the offers we'll be dealing with. The most important offer right here is a purchase agreement, because this is the actual document that we use to make the offer. Purchase agreement, these are disclosures, okay? If we need to make a counter offer, we'll use this document, all right? So we will explain to you guys as we go through the process what these documents are for. The agreement I want to talk about right now is a buyer's agreement. We do work by agreement here, and it's better for you guys, it's better for us. Let me explain to you. A buyer agreement helps protect you and the brokers that you're working with. It kind of ties us together. It makes sure that we do our due diligence to you, you give us your loyalty, and it just makes all the sense in the world. It's just a much better deal. So therefore, when you do get together with your realtor, your broker will be talking about it, And it's just a wonderful thing. It works out really, really well, okay? Now, how do we make offers? Well, we make offers, there's some things that we have to have. We have to have the approval letter from your lender. First of all, we can do nothing without that. So that's the very first step. Second step is having the earnest money deposit. Let me explain to you a little bit about what that is. Remember the $10,000 deposit that we were using? Whenever you make an offer, you have to use a part of that deposit. So therefore, if it's $10,000 for the deposit, you maybe use $3,000 of it, okay? But I just want you to understand that the earnest money deposit is part of the deposit. It's not the deposit plus, it's part of the deposit, okay? Just want you to understand that. A lot of times they're gonna ask for proof of funds, which is bank statements. So people, what they'll do is that they will say, hey, listen, I wanna see proof of funds. I wanna make sure that you indeed have the money that you say you have, or whatever. So that they might ask for that, okay? So that's pretty important that you have that as well, okay? And then, of course, your purchase agreement. That's what you're gonna need in order to make an offer, okay? We do use DocuSign, which is our electronic agreement, okay? And what happens is that whenever we make an offer, we just email you the offer, and then you just sign off on it electronically, get it back to us, and it's really a good deal. It's really a good deal, okay? All right, so basically, this is it. It's not a lot to buy the property. It's not a lot at all. Just as long as you have a good real estate agent, and you know the property that you're looking for, that you're approved, and it's really a good deal. Now, the way that we work is that we work by agreement. We give you 100% of our professionalism, negotiating skills, and technology. I give you my due diligence, you give me your loyalty, and everybody wins. That's basically how it works. Now, who in here has been pre-approved already? Nobody? Okay. When, you've been pre-approved?
Yeah.
Okay, great, excellent, okay.
Maybe federal.
Oh, great, through Naval Federal, okay, great, awesome, okay. If you guys need help in pre-approvals, check with your real estate agent that you're working with. We'll get you guys, excuse me, we'll get you guys approved. We're ready to go, and then actually you'll be ready to move forward, okay? The way that we work in the real estate business is we work by referral. This is kind of important because people don't know how we work. Some people actually think we get paid on a salary, which we do not. We work by compensation, so it's important that you guys help us out. As we work with you, we would like for you to refer us your business, your friends, your family, people you know, great people like yourself that will be able to help us in our business. So we kind of work together. We give you our loyalty, you give us your referrals, and we all win. It's an awesome thing. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Because we're about at the end of the presentation. It was painless, right?
Ask him a lot of questions, please.
Okay. I'm going to go to the last slide here because this is what I like to end with. It's like, are you motivated? Are you really motivated to get out there and get what you want and to move in the direction that you want to move in? Okay. And the first thing to be motivated in getting forward is that you have to be approved, okay? The second thing is that you got to be realistic. You got to be looking in the right area with the right price. You know, I mean, everybody wants to live in Beverly Hills, I get that. But we have to be realistic on where we want to live, okay? You'll be much more successful in buying the property that you want to buy, and you give your agent a lot better chance of getting the property that you want to get, okay? And this is a seller's market, and let me talk a little bit about this. There's different type of markets. There's a seller's market and a buyer's market. I'm going to kind of go into some real estate lingo here. We have approximately 2 months of inventory left on the market. And let me tell you what that means. That means that if today, if there was no more listings, then 2 months there would be nothing else to buy, okay? That means that basically from 2 to, is it something I said? Okay. Everything went dark when I started talking. Okay, what that basically means is that there's not a lot of inventory in the market, so you're gonna have to be very, very realistic about the offers you put in and the speed that you put them in. You can't really be kind of teeter-tottering around. If you see a property you like, you gotta put in an offer immediately. It has to be realistic, and it has to be a property that you can afford, okay? Now, usually from 0 to 6 months of inventory is a seller's market. Then from 6 months and up, it's a buyer's market. So right now, we're in a deep seller's market. What does that mean? You're gonna be up against multiple offers. So when you put your foot forward, it has to be your best foot forward. This is not a market to where you can lowball. You will not have a chance of getting the property, okay? Number two, let's talk about closing costs. We went over closing costs earlier. Closing costs can be a negotiating tool. And what that basically means is that if I know if I have 3 or 4 people making an offer against my offer, and if I'm going to ask for closing costs, wrong thing to do. Find someone else to pay your closing costs, such that your lender can help you pay, right? Or either you pay your own closing costs. Don't go in an offer and you're up against 3 or 4 offers, and you're going to ask for closing costs, unless your price is so much higher than what everybody else is offering. Okay, so that's part of being actually realistic and motivated. But in this market, guys, you just cannot offer lowball offers. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. Okay.
What happens if I offer full price and then the appraisal doesn't come back at value?
Oh, that's a great question. Let's talk a little bit about that. For my guys here, the first-time home buyers, what happens is that when you make an offer on the property, and then the process goes like this, and thanks for that. The process goes like this. You search for properties, you make an offer, and the offer is accepted, right? After the offer is accepted, you have to do your inspection. You want to make sure that you inspect the property by a property inspector. And then what happens is that your lender calls for an appraisal, okay? Now, when the appraiser comes out, they'll appraise the property. An appraisal is an opinion of value. That's what that means. And what will happen is that sometimes if you offer $300,000, the appraisal may come back at $280,000. Okay? Now that's good for you guys, right? Good for you, not so good for the seller. All right? So at that particular time, what will happen is that you can enter into negotiation with the seller. The seller may come down. The seller may not come down. The seller may say, you know what, I don't care, I want $280,000. If that's the case, you're gonna have to come out of your pocket. You're gonna have to pay an extra $20,000. You may not wanna do that, okay? So what you can do, you can call for another appraisal. You can say, you know what, I don't like that one. I'm gonna try to get the same appraisal out. I'm gonna try to give it more comps in order to make it higher. If that doesn't work, if you have a stalemate, the seller can say, deal's off. Sorry, I don't want to sell. Okay? At that time, you've lost some money. You've lost your inspection money, and you have lost your appraisal money. Okay? So that brings me to a point. It's not a great idea for you to try to offer the highest price just to beat everybody out just because. You know what I mean? In other words, if I got 5 offers and the property's $300, I'm going to offer $350 because I know that'll get me the deal. Yeah, it'll get you the deal, but when the appraisal comes back at $300, you're liable for the $50,000. So it's not a good idea to play this game, especially in this market, because the seller can hold you to it. Okay? Great question. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
How about if you make an offer and then for some reason it didn't go through? What will happen to the deposit?
Excellent question. Did you guys, you know what, I think I need you to give me that question over the microphone.
I think they heard me.
Okay, well, go ahead, give it to me.
Okay, my question is, you make an offer to the property and for some reason it didn't go through, what will happen to the deposit? Is it gonna be returned to the buyer or
not?
answer me?
Excellent, excellent question. Okay, this is very important, guys. This is very important because what happens when you're putting up your deposit, you want to protect it. It's really our job as professionals to protect your deposit. Okay, so now in your contract, there's something called loan contingency. What that means is that you got a certain amount of time to get a loan. If you don't get a loan, at that time, you either have to say, hey, I cannot get a loan, or either you have to sign off on it, okay? Now, if you sign off on that loan contingency, which means I remove the loan contingency from the deal, your deposit is at risk. So she was asking, what happens if it doesn't go through? Well, it all depends. Because if you get to that point to where you've signed up on the loan contingency, and if you just don't want it, which is a way that it cannot go through, you will lose that deposit. So do not sign a loan contingency, sign off on it, then wake up one day and say, well, I don't want the property no more. You're going to lose it. Now, up until that time, your deposit is safe. If something doesn't go through, if the seller doesn't want to sell or whatever, your deposit is okay. Even at the end of the deal, if the seller doesn't want to sell, they still have to, even if you have signed off on a loan contingency, they don't want to sell, they got to return your deposit, okay? So the trigger to your deposit being in jeopardy is basically the loan contingency. When you remove that contingency, your deposit is at risk, okay? Did that answer the question?
Yes, sir. But then I have a follow-up question on that.
Yep.
So what will happen to the deposit? Who is gonna have a benefit of that deposit if I lost it, in case I made that offer?
If you lose your deposit, it goes to the seller.
Oh.
Yeah. If you lose the deposit, it goes to the seller. That's what it does, okay? Now, you can always fight. Let me tell you something. The state of California frowns upon sellers holding buyers' deposits. They really do. They're not really with that, you know? They would, you know, you have to totally screw up almost in order for the court to say, okay, you lost your deposit. But technically, that's the answer to the question. Thank you so much for that question. It was awesome. Okay, any more? We're good? Boy, you guys are smart. You guys are smart. Okay. All right, so let me have some commitments in here. I want some commitments because this is a great thing. Buying property is awesome. So I like some commitments to give. Who in here is committed to getting pre-approved within the next 30 days? Show of hands. Okay, excellent. Next 60 days? Very good. Next 90 days? Okay. Don't wait, do it now, okay? The reason that you need to be approved right now is because you may have some credit issues. You may have some issues that you gotta fix, okay? You don't know. If you haven't ran your credit lately, you're gonna have to kind of figure it out. Okay? So, whoever bought you today, number one, thank them for bringing you, and also talk to them. Let them know how can I get pre-approved, what's the next step, and all that good stuff. And if you have any questions, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm here for you guys, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay? Anything else? All right.
Can
Yes,
I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hi, my name is Joseph. I'm actually book. I met him at the class there we did for the NMLS. Just wanted to share, when you're doing this, there's no need to be nervous. What you just heard here is a great information. Revise this material. By revise, I mean go back in there, study it, know it like something, because it's going to help you. You're going to meet, you know, it's an open market. You're going to meet people that come with different strategies. But in getting a pre-approval for what you want, also know the product. Do you want an FHA, or do you looking at conventional loans? If you're working with your lender or whoever that your agent is referring you to, narrow down what product. I heard the guy say he has a, was it a Navy?
Navy Federal Credit Union.
Okay, so basically you might be going with
VA loan, yes.
a VA loan,
Yes.
which is a great product. No money down, no closing costs, as long as it has a certificate of occupancy. So know what you're going to get into, and believe me, knowledge will really eliminate your fears because you know what you're doing. And like he said, he's a great resource here. You have agents that will, you know, support you. Always ask questions if you're in doubt. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. All right, guys, that's all I have. We're done.
Please help us eat the donuts and the yogurt, otherwise I have to eat them.
I don't make it.
Simplified. People don't know the anxiety behind.
Yeah, exactly.
It's simplified. So,
Okay,
Hey, who's your agent?
Juan.
This is
Juan? Okay, he's out there. You guys have a loan, you have a headache?
Yeah.
Pásenle para que hagan preguntas.
Do you have a lender here?
Váyanse para enfrente.
Do we have a lender yet?
Right, exactly.
Juan knows.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest.
All right, so now you guys.
Yes, we have. Exactly, it's like, I said, it's 9-1, not 9-1-11, it's 9. It's 9 half of a 1.
So, did you guys talk to them?
No,
Okay.
I'm waiting to get my taxes on, so,
Okay.
yeah, that's, I know the whole matter.
Okay, all right. Well, how long do you think that you take?
10 days, we got her on a 10-day countdown.
Well, there you go. That's one goal.
I don't know, with your mother,
Yeah.
she'll be done. Oh, I already talked to her. My mom's a CPA. This is, yeah, that's you go right taxes. So I talked to her, she's ready, she's waiting on you. I know.
So you know what I do? I can have a lender contact you. Start chatting it up. You know, she'll kind of put everything together. What's needed to vote. You know.
So we want FHA, we're just worried, so he was telling me that with FHA.
You know what happens with FHA, you know that you may not be on the it's still going to look at your expenses. It's still going to be kind of part of the deal. This one's really good. Right, so we may have to look at you in conventional. Now this conventional
What is it?
No,
she's rule 7, she's
we can work around it. We can work around it, but FHA.
Oh, look at that. What is it?
Ahí vengo, fija. Yes.
I want to say, let me get a pen.
This is really good. Really? Try it. Never had it before.
Just give me your,
I have a business card.
okay. So thanks for coming, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Then we
I have budget. Yeah. We can run it all type of ways. Forfeiture Support Associates, they provide contract employees to the government as a forfeiture.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
We're not very popular.
That's interesting.
Yeah. People usually say that, then we get,
Okay.
reamed on the news. Taking money from grannies who are drug mules. Okay.
Wow,
She's a
okay.
granny, but she's a drug mule.
Okay. Can I mail, you want me to mail personal stuff to this email? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can.
Can I? Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, let me give you my personal
Yeah.
email. I can write it on there.
Okay, also.
So we
And also, can I mail something there as well?
It says here. Yeah, it says my home.
Just write it in the back.
Yeah. The good thing is we've narrowed down the area, so we have 5 cities.
Okay.
So that's yeah. My criteria is, can I take like parking ride? Yeah. Transportation. That's what she uses, parking ride to get to work.
Oh, parking, right?
Yeah, parking ride at the very most.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you work downtown?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So the good thing is they're building the rails, it's coming down, and then the areas that I need to be in for the kids' school, they're close to the parking ride. So that's a good thing for us, because they're Hawthorne, Lawndale, Gardena.
Okay.
Yeah, so he coaches and that's awesome. So we've been looking at, and the places we've been finding, I give her the address, and she's okay, it's parking right there.
Excellent.
So 4 units is good, we can stay under that.
Okay.
4 units,
All right.
yeah, so we want to have.
And then you know you have to do the 3.5% down.
Yeah.
But I think I can just want to help you with closing costs. Which is good, because the closing costs, thank you so much. The closing costs will be 3%. True.
We were trying to do developmental properties. We have a developer and he has investors But you know, investors, they want a leg or two legs, two arms. So we have found a property, that's so we got very vested in probate. So it's a probate deal. So it still hasn't went through. And another property, it's 15,000 square feet. And we can, yeah, and it's in the city of Lawndale. We know the mayor of Lawndale very good. And so he could greenlight it, the zoning, everything for us. The problem is probate. That's the only problem with the family. So of course, family, they died. One child lives in Alaska. It's a whole horrible thing, yes. And
It's
so-
just land?
Yes.
It was a house
A
that,
dilapidated house.
it's not the Gamble house in Pasadena.
In the-
The brother wants it to be historical.
That's
And
what
if you
happened.
do a Google view, it looks like a Westchester house put together.
Blow on it, it's gonna fall over.
It's bad.
It's bad, and it's like in the middle of 15,000 square feet.
So what you gonna
We were-
do? Is
we
it
were gonna
historical or
build-
no?
It's no.
We were gonna build 10 condos on it. That's the developer already had everything, but the problem is probably even got the investors. And so they want 1.3 for the land, 1.3 million, but the problem is every.
Is it
all
worth
the
it?
condos- Yeah, it was worth more than that, especially with the condos. The condos right now are selling in that area 700,000 each, so we put 10 there. Do the math. Yeah, we put, yeah, so it's worth it. We've crunched all the numbers, but the problem is if they overbid it over 1.3, then that goes into our construction.
Well, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it has to be a point where it stops. right?
Exactly, but
Okay.
they can go to probate, so,
Well, it needs to be confirmed.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And the brother.
You know what that means?
Yeah, and the
She
family's
does.
not, I just, yeah, I've been, yeah.
She's been.
The family, that's what I said, I've got, calling me, 'cause I'm the one dealing with it, so we thought we had it in because we knew, I know the woman that lives on the street, she knows the family. And we thought, okay, everything was settled up, but now the brother in Alaska is under, he's like, I want a historical. It's not happening. The family out here, they don't care.
That might be wrapped up for a minute.
It is. So our developer, he talked to the agent, and the agent was like, yeah, we're looking at 6 to 10 months minimum.
Yeah.